Collectibles. Now it's a real
Braucht
video
man.
game. In
Weiß
the
jeder.
Stanley Parabel 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Also ich muss ja zugeben, ich brauche keine Achievements in Spielen. Das ist mir völlig wurscht eigentlich. Eigentlich. Ich weiß, bei Horizon will ich Platin, aber egal. Achievements brauche ich eigentlich nicht. Aber Sammelobjekte finde ich eigentlich schon gut. Collect mal. Finde ich schon wichtig.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a
Eigentlich.
video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it.
Oh,
Absolutely tragic.
Ich glaube, wir haben aber jetzt alles, oder? 2. Sammelobjekte die auch sowas wie... Ja, aber Sammelobjekte kannst du halt, die kriegst du finden. Diese Achievements, weißt du, manche sind ja sogar verpassbar, die kriegst du dann nie. Und manche sind sakrisch schwer, dass ich es nicht schaffe.
Stanley Parabel was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parabel Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parabel will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Oh, Entschuldigung. Erst fertig gehen. Dann nehmen wir da Eimer.
Can you feel it?
Nee.
The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they?
Ganz bestimmt.
All this and more await you in the Stanley Parabel 2.
Ja. Alles klar. Eindeutig. Wir nehmen jetzt den Beruhigungseimer mit. Ihr habt es ja gehört, dadurch fühlen wir uns viel besser.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Okay. Auch. Ich glaube, wir haben es, oder? Doch. Ich muss sagen, durch den Eimer ist der Stream sehenswert. Kann ich mir vorstellen, ja. Das hat mir immer gefehlt, Rafa, weißt du? Immer. Das hat mir gefehlt. Sind die Streams endlich halt hier mit gutem Content. Und wenn wir kotzen müssen, hat man was zu kotzen. Was will man da mehr?
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to?
Ich
Ready
hoff's.
to move on now?
Ja, ich denke schon. Nicht Sub-Goal, ein Eimer für Bunny. Eimer für Bunny. Shit.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you
Ja.
like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not
Aber ich will meinen
it
Eimer
coheres
behalten.
into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parabel 2. Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags.
Ja, er muss jetzt alles ja einbringen zu einem guten Game. Das Loch, der Hebel, der Knopf,
I wanted more than
der
anything
Eimer,
to create a sequel that would capture all the
Sammelobjekte.
magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's
Sind wir
it.
gleich wieder im Büro.
I can take
Achtung.
the
Ja.
original Stanley Parable
Ja.
and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Okay, Titelbildschirm. Ah, hat aber gut umgesetzt, oder? Ich finde, es ist gelungen. Gutes Titelbild. Musik passt auch dazu. Jetzt noch kurz, bis er bei der Tür ist. Okay. Gut. Sag mal noch, dass es gut ist, oder?
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Wirkt etwas psychedelisch. Ja.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number
Sind wir jetzt
427.
bei Stanley Parabel 2
Employee
oder
number
nicht?
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room
Oder sind wir
427
durch? Ich
and
bin mir jetzt nicht
inputted
sicher.
buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did
Die
every
Luftballons
day,
fehlen. Ja, die fehlen,
every
oder?
month,
Oder waren da
of
welche? Nein, da
every
war kein.
year. And although others
Fehlen, ne?
might have considered it soul-rending,
Kann es nicht
Stanley
Parabel
relished
2
every
sein jetzt?
moment
Dann
that
ist es
the
der
orders
1er.
came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Stimmt was?
Stanley was happy.
Gibt noch so viel zu entdecken.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Ich
No
habe die
one had
Mitarbeiter auch
showed
noch
up to give
gefunden.
him
Geht das auch?
instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley
Wo
found
kannst du
himself
bei,
unable
ja,
to
doch,
move
ich
for
kannst
the
du bei Teil 2 das
longest
gleiche
time.
Intro nehmen, oder?
But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Ja, aber wo sind denn jetzt die Luftballons? Wir wollten noch Luftballons. Ah, da.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed
Aber es
the
macht zu
memo.
einem ganz anderen Game, ne? Wenn du ins Büro rausgehst und überall hast du die Luftballons. Get well. Ein anderes Feeling. Wenn jetzt noch ein Loch kommt, da ist unser Beruhigungseimer. Den müssen wir direkt mitnehmen.
Stanley
Dankeschön.
picked up the bucket.
Jetzt wird besser. Vielleicht Sprungreis oder so.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Mach ich. Ja, du spielst ja jetzt 2. Ja, das stimmt schon. Wer weiß, was hier noch
Still
passiert,
no
ne?
one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Guck mal, hier gibt's einen Freund für einen Eimer. Das ist nicht schön.
Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket.
Siehst
You
du?
can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket.
Ich hab's gleich erkannt.
Let me put it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet.
Ja,
That's what the broom
eben.
closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the
Aber
bucket. I
der
know
will hier
how
sein,
hard
der
it must
Eimer.
be, given the pressure that the broom closet is
Tatsächlich
putting on
fancy,
your
ja. Ja,
shoulders
Teil
right now,
2
but
ist
you
gut.
have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend.
Okay, nein, ich gebe ihn nicht her.
Can't hand it over. Oh no. We're getting into name calling now. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Sammelobjekt!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward
2 von
for
6, die
collecting
eine
all of
gilt.
these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Gut. Aber wisst ihr, was fehlt? Achievement-Hebel. Habe ich den nicht verpasst? Hätte ja noch in den Keller gehen können, Theo. Ist zu?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dump, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck.
Purer
As
Zufall,
if the
Leute.
bucket knew
Purer.
all along. Was the bucket guiding him?
Einmal hatte den Code.
Yes.
Ja, natürlich.
This is certainly the most logical explanation.
Ja. Sammelobjekt!
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine
Okay,
under your belt.
wir sammeln Stanlerines. Immerhin. Oh, ich hoffe, ich habe keine verpasst. Hat so meine Befürchtung. Weiß es nicht. Muss er langsam schlafen gehen? Ich auch! Verdammt! Nach die Nacht, ich schlaf gut, King, komm. Schön, dass du dabei warst.
The elevator
Ein gutes
raced
Bettchen.
downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read
Ja.
Mind Control Facility.
Ja, wir gehen weiter. Ein Eimer? Oh, doch, er ist noch da.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Der hat das
What horrible
Springcircuit
secret did this place
Und
hold?
der
Stanley and the
Achievement-Hebel
bucket both
und das
wondered to
Loch.
themselves.
Unendliche Loch?
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Nein.
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs.
Guinea Pigs.
The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley
Kannst deine
cradled it
Tränen ja
gently,
selber auffangen.
reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Also ich finde, der Eimer verbessert dieses Gameplay hier immens. Oder?
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well?
Nein!
Had the bucket been told to do things
Oh
it
Gott.
didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world.
At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends,
Wenn das Gameplay durch den
Stanley
Eimer
and the
verbessert
bucket,
wird,
up against the world.
wird auch ein
They
Eimer-Mode in
high-fived
Funny
in a
Discord
really
den
cool
Server
way,
bereichern.
and the
Ganz
bucket made a
bestimmt.
sassy comment about taking
Wäre eine
down the
immense
system.
Verbesserung. Oh Mensch. Okay, wir machen aber off, ne? Wir machen off.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it.
Aber
Stanley and the bucket had defeated
doch
their
ein bisschen
greatest
was.
and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away.
ich habe auch nicht alle
Excitedly, the
Sammelobjekte.
two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. The
Nein!
facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms, not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room, but at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Okay. Es geht weiter. Jetzt ist nur...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it
Wollen wir
mean?
Feierabend machen?
Stanley
Ich weiß nicht, wie
decided to
lange
go
das
to
hier
the
noch
meeting room.
geht.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ah, okay. Meeting today. Das ist neu. Das ist neu. Ist es, ich muss das ohne Eimer machen? Weil mit Eimer komme ich nicht raus. Oder? Wir sollten jetzt Feierabend machen. Geh ins Bett. Geh noch bis zu den Türen, okay? Bis zum Meeting... Oder bis zum Meeting Room.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the
Bis zum
door
Meeting
on his
Room.
left.
Immer. Und dann machen wir aus. Okay, nee, ist keiner. Ja, ich hab's verstanden. Ich muss die Sammelobjekte finden. Es gibt noch einige Enden zu spielen. Die Enden vom neuen Content sind mir gänzlich unbekannt. Ja, hier fehlt auf jeden Fall... Also wir müssen auf jeden Fall als nächstes alle Sammelobjekte finden. Ganz wichtig. Guck mal, gibt sogar einen Reward dafür. Okay, guck mal, 3 haben wir schon. Also, das gut. Richtung Keller müsste noch eine sein. Somewhere both red and blue. Irgendwo, wo es rot und blau ist. Und ein großer Raum voller Boxen. Okay, wir machen jetzt aus. Ich glaube, das zieht sich hier sonst noch ewig.